Greetings. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Wednesday, February 10th. My name is Matt, if you don't already know. Most of you should probably know, but maybe you're brand new and you have no clue who this guy is on your screen. Well, my name is Matt. I'm the CMO here at Legendary, and good to have you on. Welcome in for those of you who are live. Happy to have you here. We do these live every single Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So we've been doing these now for years, but we've been specifically doing them between Dave and myself, going live really since about last March or April. So we've got these on podcasts. If you want to find them on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can always find them there. Spotify usually has the quickest sort of upload time. So those are usually on Spotify the fastest, but whatever you use to put up your podcast is cool. There's a couple other ones. So, if you use some other service, search us, Wake Up Legendary, and you can try to find it. If you can't find it, try using one of the other platforms. So you can always view these on our Facebook page as well. You can view the video replays at legendarymarketer.com/live. And we bring on awesome guests, people who have been through our training or joined our community and started seeing success in their journey with online marketing or digital marketing. And we've got another awesome guest today. His name's Alex. He's a young gun up from the Northeast, and we're going to bring him on and talk a little bit. If you're newer to our community, many of you are newer to our community, you can always get a text message. Ooh, other side. There we go. There's a number on your screen. It's 813-296-8553. You can get a text every time that we go live. You can get text messaged. It just is a short little thing on your phone. It says, "Hey, we just went live. Join us." So you can text that number. You text the letters WUL to get that text message. So without further ado, let's dive into it. Let's get on our guest, Alex. What's happening, Alex?
Hey, Matt. Thanks for having me.
Look at this. Look at it. I just met Alex 3 minutes ago, but we were just on and I was like, dang, this guy's just got a massive smile. He just looks happy, man. You got the Yukon Huskies little jacket on too. Like it.
Yukon,
Are you a Huskies fan?
Yeah, big time fan. I actually went to one of the women's game about a couple years ago. Cool. I actually saw Kobe there too, which was an awesome experience.
Awesome. That is cool. Yeah. Man. They've been dominating the women's ranks for as long as I've been alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gino Ariema. Man, I remember the old Yukon days of Kemba Walker and that's way back. That's a throwback. Well, cool. This isn't a show about college basketball as much as I would love that. I'm hoping, that we're able to that we'll be able to have March Madness this year, because that was
Me too, yeah.
Summer. All right, man. Well, tell us a little bit about you. You're in Connecticut. You are 20. So you are super young, one of the younger people in our community, although we've got lots of young 17, 18, 19, 20-year-olds who are just kind of chomping at the bit, and so we talked a little bit yesterday about energy levels and how, when you're younger, you have lots of energy and you're ready to go, So bring us into your world a little bit. You wrote in our pre-interview thing that you had an experience working as at a grocery store, and so bring us into your background and your life. I always say life history, but you're 20, so there's not a ton there. But tell us a little bit about where you're going to college, what you're studying, and how you got into this whole thing.
So actually, my 21st birthday was about 9 days ago, so I'm now 21.
Okay,
which is great. But yeah, so when I was 18, which was a couple years ago, the first thing I decided to do was get a job at a local grocery store. I knew very early on that I would need to, have some kind of part-time job or something to have some income going. And from that point on, I've been, just looking for ways to make money online. And actually that same summer, I wanted to get into certain things like drop shipping and stuff like that. And unfortunately, I was bleeding my pockets a lot because it's a lot to get started with, and I was spending a lot of money. So I kind of gave up on that. And this was about my senior year. Senior year went pretty well, and I got accepted into the University of Connecticut. I still attend there now. I'm a junior now, and I study
Cool.
communications with a minor in marketing, actually.
Cool.
So about a year after working at the grocery store, I believe it's May actually, and we got news that Stop and Shop, that was the location I used to work at, had received its highest profit margin in its history. So they made the most money ever, and they were very successful that year. And a few weeks later, we heard that we're actually taking all your benefits away. And
Wow.
this was a surprise, right? Because they just made the most money ever, and now they're looking to cut back on benefits. And for those that don't know, some of the benefits like grocery stores offer are healthcare, paid time off, and it was already limited, right? So if you work like a year or so, you only get about a week or two of paid time off. Anything else is unpaid. So they were already trying to cut back the little that they were giving us, and we actually went on strike for about 2 weeks. And
Okay.
during this time, you can say a fire was relit under me to like start seeking ways to make money online, because during my whole time working there, I love the people that I worked with, but unfortunately, those were the type of people that struggled growing up and didn't get to their financial goals, and they work at a grocery store, which isn't bad, but they were very miserable. So at age 8, 19, 20 years old, I'm coming to work every day, and these people are complaining about their shifts, about their pay, and it was very draining over time. So I was already looking to get out of that anyway. And during that time, when we were on strike for about 2 weeks in May, I started looking for other jobs. And one of the first things I saw was the current job I work now is at a bank, a local bank, which isn't too far from where I live. And the thing about that is when I applied, this was during strike, they actually weren't even hiring. But I told myself, why not just give it a shot? I don't really have much to lose here. And shortly after, we got message that one of the current bank tellers is actually going to another job position. Because I had already applied, even when they weren't hiring, I was one of the first people that decided to be hired. So I transferred over, and I've still worked there today at a local bank. And what kind of sparked my interest to start making money online was that incident with the strike. Because you know, these people, think about people that work at the grocery store for decades, you know, and then you just tell them, you know, we're going to take all your benefits away. That kind of reminded me, like, listen, at the end of the day, as good as a 9-to-5 job is, you know, you're still working for someone else. And that kind of inspired me to start looking for ways to make, you know, substantial money online, being my own boss and working on my own time.
I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. So it's interesting to me because you're so young that I think a lot of times it takes them longer, like 10, 20 years to get that feeling of like, man, I don't like going to work with people who are just like complaining all day.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I feel like that's a little bit of conditioning too, you know, from you. You know, with drop shipping specifically, was there something, I mean, did you have friends, or how did you even hear, what was the first thought of like, even before Legendary, what was the first thought of like, man, I want to do something like that?
Well, it was actually one of my social media streams. I was seeing a lot of young individuals become like rich with drop shipping. They weren't really explaining it too well. They were just saying, hey, look, I drive, you know, a Lamborghini, and I'm only like 21 years old. And that really enticed me, right? The idea of being young and being, you know, financially free is, you know, everyone's goal. And you would see it. This was what, 2018. So 2018, 2019, this was when drop shipping was reaching its peak almost. It's still, you know, pretty prevalent now, but back then I was very intrigued by this opportunity, just reselling products and earning you know, a higher payout than what I'm buying it for. You know, it sounds like a dream made in heaven. So that really inspired me, seeing other people through social media kind of, you know, promote that.
Yeah, makes sense. So you got into that. Just startup cost wise, it's a little higher, and not to like knock it or say that it's just terrible or whatever. It's just a different business model.
Yeah.
It's just a different business model. It's just a different game. So, okay. So right now you're still in college.
Yes.
Are you still working?
Yes, still working. I work 20 hours a week. I have about 5 classes. So my schedule is pretty busy, but you know, I kind of love it. Before, like, it was March of the pandemic, right? Last year, 2020. And I believe we went on, I think 3 to 4 months where it just felt like I was just doing nothing. I was just getting up, playing video games, just sitting around, not doing much. I would go to work. They limited our hours at the bank because we're in the height of the pandemic. So I wasn't even going to work as much. So I felt very unproductive there in that time. I feel like there's always these strides in history where opportunities are, achievable, and you can actually, capitalize on something that normally wouldn't be available in a normal situation. And during the height of the pandemic, I felt like I didn't really capitalize on that until later on when I began my journey, which was actually only a couple months ago. I really just got started like December 12th is when I really started to promote Legendary.
That's cool. I just wanted to hit I just wanted to hit on, there's a comment up here. Let me pull this comment open because I think this is an interesting comment. He says, I'm 52. Darn, I wish I had started at his age. I was 21 at 1990. Well, I was just born in 1989. So like we were born, if you weren't born, I was barely born.
Yeah.
But Rick, I just wanted to say to you, man, there's actually benefits and pitfalls of being young with so much opportunity. There's a million more ways for you to lose money too on the internet. And that happened to me and it happened a little bit to Alex, but you don't know what you don't know. And you haven't lived life long enough to, when you're at 52, at least you've lived long enough to get a feel for people, and you can take more responsibility for how you judge people, how you perceive people. You have a better feel for people because you're seasoned in life. But also, I just wanted to say to that comment, 52, if you listen to Gary, do you ever listen to Gary Vee, Alex?
I love Gary. Yeah. Big fan.
Yeah, then you're going to dig this. So Gary's always talking about how, if you're 40, like you're barely getting started in life. Like the 40 is like the new 20. And if you're 50 or 60, like you've still got so much runway to go that if you take the approach of just, wow, and always looking at sort of the downside and looking at the pessimistic side of, well, I missed opportunity. No, you're 52 and you're sitting here right now, February 10th, right? Yeah. February 10th, 2021, you're sitting here right now with an opportunity in front of you, not to buy something or whatever, but just to take advantage of the internet, just to take advantage of the leverage of the internet, right? The people who are truly missed out on that are people who lived in 1900 or people who lived in 1800. But even then, you had gold rush. You had all kinds. There's always opportunity, always. In the world, there will forever be. But I mean, if you're alive today and you're watching this and you have, the capability to type on a keyboard and learn a little bit, like you have the whole world in front of you. You have just as much opportunity as anyone else. Because people are doing this without paying any money. I mean, people are doing this without, buying any crazy expensive software or paying for CRMs. I mean, sometimes people come to me and they're like, oh, I can't afford $50 or I can't afford, $100 for this or whatever. And I'm like, hey, that's cool. Like, don't use any of that stuff. But just remember, most companies have an overhead of, $5,000 a month or $10,000 because they got employees and rent and all of this other stuff. So people need to shift their mentality. They're looking for something for free or looking, the opportunity is there. You've got to make it work for you. You've got to figure it out. You've got to learn, you've got to grow. So anyway, that's my rant for the day. But I just, when I hear about your energy, you're talking about 5 classes, part-time work, and you're building sort of an online presence too. I think, man, I think that there's so many different unproductive places to put energy. So it's exciting to me to watch you put them into productive things, right? A lot of people shit on college and whatever else, but like, look, you're getting a great education. You're learning a lot of relevant information if you're studying marketing and stuff. And also like the act of going to college and making connections. I think sometimes people downplay that. I mean, connections and network and all of that stuff can be really beneficial and pay off and get you in doors that maybe you couldn't get in before. And I just don't think that there's any reason to, downplay that or shit on that. I think that, you've got a lot of productive energy and harness that, man, because I had that at 21, 22, and I'm 30 at 31, but that I had more energy in my early 20s than I do now, even now. And I still have a lot of energy. I could work all day if I needed to. I could pull an all-nighter if I had to, but it's not like it was in 21, 22. It's
Yeah.
just not. And so you've got this sort of spry young energy it's inspiring to me. I love hearing about it because it's like, oh, I can reawaken that maybe, you know. So do you ever get overwhelmed? Do you ever feel like it's too much?
Yeah. So in the beginning stages, it was definitely a lot of learning that I had to go through. But what have something that I've kind of started to practice now is just taking a step back, giving myself 1 to 2 hours a day, just to relax. And I really didn't realize how important, mental health is, but it's a serious thing. Like you can really get overwhelmed when you have a lot on your plate. And I can imagine if you're an adult with, kids, full-time job, there's a lot on your plate. So you really have to give yourself about an hour or two each day just to, refocus, read a book, listen to music, something to calm your mind.
What do you do for that?
I read a book actually. This is by far,
What are
I
you
think
reading now?
everyone knows about this book, but I can read this book like 6 times over. Rich Dad Poor Dad, one of my favorite books of all time.
Cool.
My aunt actually got me another book that I have to start reading, but I'm starting to get more into reading, and that's coming from someone that absolutely hates reading. I literally can fall asleep. Growing up, I could fall asleep reading any book. But recently, like your mind starts to change when you read, and I used to hear that growing up all the time, but that information is more prevalent now, more so than ever before. And reading is definitely one thing, and even just watching YouTube videos, watching other people talk about their businesses, and that's also, it does two things. It keeps me relaxed and also re-inspires me, because during this journey to financial freedom, you're going to have moments when you're not as motivated. So I like to watch other people, watch other motivational videos and stuff like that to keep me relaxed.
That's cool. That's cool. Are you catching on to this whole investing craze right now, or not really?
So my dad is actually a big time investor.
Cool.
He isn't like on Wall Street or anything like that. He's a retail day trader. But he knows a lot more than me. So he's trying to train
Cool.
me and give me as much information. I'm
Awesome.
all about the long term games. Actually, so GameStop, when it skyrocketed, when I first started investing, which was about March for the pandemic, I actually had 3 shares of GameStop that I just had because I recommended people, and those shares were about $3. And when it skyrocketed to like 300, I just cashed out on profit. But I'm not about the those kind of quick earnings. I'm all about long term investments, because I'm seeing more return with that rather than just your funny little stocks here and there to make a quick buck or two.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. One of the I was just pulling this open, but one of my all-time favorite books, and I like Tony Robbins. You know Tony Robbins?
Yeah, I've seen this book, Money Master the Game. Yes.
So, for anybody who's watching or listening, I just pulled open on the screen, Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. And look, I think that there's a lot of different, I'm not saying he's got it all or whatever, and it's the perfect, investment solution or whatever, but it's the interesting part that he does in here is he talks a lot about investing and how, the fun part about this book that I liked is like, okay, you can read any investing book and whatever, they're going to tell you to invest for the long term. I get it. But what he does is he brings in some of the world's top investors who own the hedge funds, like at Bridgewater, and a lot of these huge investment brokerages, I guess. And what he does, okay, so he brings in guys like Ray Dalio, founder of the largest hedge fund on planet Earth. John Bogle, I think he founded Vanguard. So what he does is, and Charles Schwab, he brings them all in and interviews them. And he basically kind of looks at them and just like, hey, look, here's the deal. You get interviewed by a lot of people. And you kind of give your little spiel that you give. All right, I'm Tony Robbins. So like, I don't like half answers, and I don't like bullshit. So I'm going to ask you direct, like, what are you actually doing? Right? Like, what actually works? So he just cuts out the bullshit and just goes straight at them. And it's so refreshing, man. It's a really fun read, even if you don't follow it. Basically, his whole strategy is just invest in long-term index funds. Yeah. And just, hey, look at the history of all of these the S&P 500. If you just put your money in something that follows the S&P 500 for the next 50 years, like you're going to be pretty set. Like,
Yeah.
so I think it seems like a smart sort of, a smart strategy anyway. It's kind of what most investors will tell you, but the way that he brings in those guys and really unpacks their strategies and unpacks sort of, the behind the curtain stuff that they don't tell a lot about. It's just a very fun read. I think you'd love it, especially if you're into the whole like rich dad, poor dad feel. It'll be right up your alley. You should check it out. Okay, so anyway, side tangent, but tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now. So it looks like somebody asked us earlier, it looks like you have kind of a streaming setup going on, and I love that. But like, are you a gamer? Are you a streamer? Are you you're an affiliate marketer? You're making videos on TikTok. What are you doing? Like, what's the stuff you're involved in?
So from December 12th to about January 20th or so, I've just been using TikTok, and the appeal behind me, I actually don't play video games anymore. I don't have the time. But this is just to kind of bring character. When you're going through TikTok, there's people that go on TikTok for hours, right? So I try to have a background that kind of stands out from just a regular white screen or white wall behind you. But I do a lot of TikTok. And now, as you can kind of tell by this mic and stuff, I'm trying to move some of my audience over to YouTube as well, because in TikTok, you only can explain so much in a 60-second video, right? YouTube, I do a lot more full training on there. And it's also allowing me to have, free traffic as well, because I'm having my TikTok followers watch my YouTube videos and just people on YouTube, just that are scrolling. So just really TikTok and YouTube. I don't really need to use anything else at the moment. I found a decent amount of success with just that, but I'm trying to scale long term.
What are you doing in terms of how many videos you do a day?
At the beginning stages, I was posting about 6 to 7 times a day. It was a mixture between either duets, stitches, trendy things, and kind of just what I like to do. I like to follow this thing called the 80-20 rule, where 80% of your information or the TikToks you put out there are something that's helpful and provides value to your consumer. And then the 20% that's when I'll throw my offer in and out. So I post about 4 to 6 times a day when I started to grow. And then when I started to maintain some traction, I didn't have to post as much, maybe just 2 to 3 times, but it's being consistent. I remember posting every single day. I would go to bed. Before going to bed, I would write down everything I wanted to do for the next day. So when I wake up, I could post. I was looking at some of the best times to post: early in the morning, in the middle of the day, or late at night. I was just doing everything I could. And it actually only took one of my videos to kind of blow up. It was this video about Google Ads and how you can actually learn Google Ads for free. That like blew up. It had like hit over 1 million, views in about a week or two.
Cool.
And that's when I started getting a lot of traction. And in about 1 month, I got 100,000 followers on TikTok. And a lot of the stuff that I was talking about was relative to me. And then I would, kind of bounce off some helpful information, how you can actually grow on TikTok, how you can, start making money, without having to even show your face, by making niche pages and stuff like that. So anything to provide like value to the consumer is what allowed me to grow quickly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's, man, I wish that everybody would sort of take I wish everybody would sort of take that approach of just of realizing the opportunity that sits inside of TikTok right now. It's absolutely insane. I've never seen anything like it. And you're right. I mean, you throw out 6 videos a day. Okay, that seems like a lot of work, but look, and it is, but like you throw out, let's say 5 to 10 videos a day or something like that. I mean, if you're following sort of a set protocol, odds are you're going to get one of them to pop off eventually, right? And you look in our Facebook group and the amount of people who they'll use the phrase, "It only takes one," and it's true. It's true. That video can just skyrocket. So, so right now, are you still doing your 6 videos a day?
I actually do about 2 to 3 now. My focus is now trying to scale my YouTube, because
You can monetize that.
monetize that, and I could actually explain more, because I get like 1,000 questions in the comments every day. Can you explain this? Can you explain that? So YouTube, I get to do kind of free training and then monetize that as well. So
It's super smart.
mm,
Is you take those little bite-sized nuggets,
mm,
and when people grasp onto those and leave you comments, you start collecting these comments in your head. Okay, a lot of people have been asking about this. So, all
mm.
right, now I go create a YouTube. Now, uh, for many of you who are brand new to this whole thing, when you get how many?
Thousand
What's the metric?
subscribers, a
1,000
thousand
subscribers.
subscribers, and 4,000 watch hours.
Okay,
Mm,
so on a YouTube channel, you get to 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours. You can monetize, meaning if somebody's playing your video, it would show an ad, right? Either before, after, during your video, right?
mm-hmm,
And you get paid for that because it's advertising time. So YouTube writes you a check and says it's kind of like they're renting out your channel a little bit to place to have an ad play during your video. So
mm-hmm,
um, that's now think of it like a real estate investment, right? It's almost like a real estate property that somebody's going to come in and they're going to put like an Airbnb. They're going to Airbnb your YouTube channel for 30 seconds or for a minute or 2 minutes, and you're going to get paid for that. Although all you're really doing is just kind of providing the thing, it's
mm-hmm.
less work than Airbnb for sure. But, and then over time that can build. So but here's the trick or the big thing to remember is you take those bite-sized things from TikTok, you take your comments, and then you go create a longer, more elaborate training that's 20 minutes. And
Mm-hmm.
what'll happen is your watch time, the percentage of your video watched will be super high because your audience has always said you want to hear that. So you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to guess, what should I create content around? No, you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to guess at all. You know exactly what you should be creating content on because they told you, right? So then when your watch times go up, and meaning the percentage of the video that most people watch. So if your video sucks, it could be 2%. If your
Mm-hmm.
video is really, really good, like the content's great, it could be 80%. And the person who gets 80%, guess what? YouTube's going to give them more traffic because they want to keep people on their platform. So now you've got higher watch times. You're going to get paid more by YouTube because your ads are going to show more because the video is longer. There's so many good things about that model. How did you, well, you didn't come up with that because everybody, a lot of people are doing that, but
Yeah.
how did you get that idea? Where'd that come from?
So it was actually, so the two people that kind of got me into affiliate marketing were Daryl Gray Jr. and Mitch Fortner, right? So it actually I started learning about affiliate marketing through them. And I actually started to watch it first on YouTube. Then they would say, hey, check out my TikTok. I never had TikTok, right? And I like to tell people that all the time. One of the biggest side notes that I get is like, well, Alex, I don't know. Don't you need a large social media following to be successful with affiliate marketing? And I tell people a month ago, I didn't even have TikTok. All right. I didn't even have I don't use social media platforms at all. I don't have a Twitter. I never even had a Facebook until recently. So I'm not big on social media, but when you're providing value, people will be more receptive to that information and be more likely to follow you.
And my guess is you don't hop on, you're not sitting scrolling dancing girls videos on
Nope.
TikTok. I can tell you're
Yeah.
like,
Just
you're
talking. Yeah. Just talking, just providing information. But the idea that I got with, repurposing my content was from Mitch and Daryl. I saw that they grew quickly on TikTok, and then that's when they started to send their followers over to YouTube. And one of my favorite lessons I actually learned from Gary that we mentioned earlier is the repurposing of content. So now I'm in the stage where I'm actually cutting down some of my YouTube videos and just re-uploading that to my TikTok. And then that's just going to be circling back more. So on the days where I'm kind of dry for, content ideas, I'm just re-editing the same exact YouTube video that I have up and, just repurposing content.
That's cool. Yeah, that's a strategy we teach in the Omni Branding Formula, which is one of our side kind of upsell courses. Is taking long form content, chopping it up, and redistributing it over various different. That's awesome, man. I mean, it's brilliant, and I think yeah, it's just mind boggling to me that you're 21 and rocking this though.
Thank you.
It is and it isn't. I
Mhm.
can tell you're not on social. You're you know, you're working part time. You're in college. You're building a side hustle. Like, kudos to your parents.
Yeah, they've been a big inspiration.
Cool.
They've also they've struggled, growing up. They're immigrants actually.
Okay.
And now
Where?
they're from Jamaica actually. From
Cool.
Jamaica, yeah. So
Awesome.
they struggled a lot growing up. They've always
Yeah.
been kind of the business type of people, but when they lost one of their businesses when they're in Jamaica, they moved over here with little to nothing, and over time they've
Mm.
grown. They have multiple real estate properties. My dad just has a trucking company. And they're on the ideal path to retirement right now, as I like to say, because they went from zero to nothing, and they did it together, and they did it through hard work and perseverance. And that's kind of what I've always had that in my DNA. And I thank my parents, because I know a lot of people aren't privileged enough to have the parents I have,
Yep.
and I thank them for everything that they've helped me with. So
God, that's awesome. I love that. It's just, I don't know. I love both the energy that comes from immigrants, but
yeah,
also that comes from, yeah, same thing. I mean, Gary Vee, child of immigrant
mhm,
parents, and just, there's this certain just energy that flows, and it's entrepreneurial, it's creative,
yeah,
there's not a lot of fear, because what's the worst you're going to do is fail, or
uh-huh,
like what's the worst that could happen, right? So
yeah.
dang, man. I I don't know what else to say. I guess I'll let you have the last word here.
uh,
What would you, we've got a lot of people in here in our community, who are, trying to figure this out,
mhm.
who just maybe they saw you on TikTok, or a couple people on TikTok or YouTube over the last couple weeks, and now they're finally here, and they're trying to figure it out. What would you say to those people, who are in that space, a little uncertain, but just trying to get started?
So one of the biggest things I try to tell people from any age group is that when you're purchasing the course, I always tell them you're not really purchasing a course. I like to say you're purchasing a community. Everything
Oh,
that I know with affiliate marketing, it's because of the legendary marketer community, right? Any questions I've ever had, I've seen it answered in the chat. Any inspiration I need, I have tons of resources, all
mhm.
from legendary marketer. I tried affiliate marketing before investing in the course through just YouTube. And
Okay.
unfortunately, I always tell people you're going to get information that's helpful, but if it's not in chronological order, you don't know what you don't know. So you're going to be missing on potential key things. So I always tell people it doesn't matter how much time in the day you have. It doesn't matter, who you are, what you look like. If you're really serious about becoming financially free and having this be a good side income, or even a main income, you're going to do what it takes to be successful. And there's plenty of resources here. Plenty of resources. A lot of them are from other people like you and me, ordinary people that didn't, have rich parents, or, are very financially successful. They're just ordinary, everyday workers. So, surround yourself with the people in the community, get to know people, and just be inspired. At the end of the day, we all want to live that life of financial freedom. And the only thing that's stopping us is ourselves. So, yeah.
Jeez. I love it. I love it. And I
Thank
and
you.
I love I didn't comment on it earlier, but it came back to me. I love your oops. I love your little 80/20 rule too.
Yep.
Of posting just value 80% of the time, promotion 20% of the time. It's that overload. It's like Gary Vee, jab, 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 right hook. It's the same principle.
Mm-hmm.
Give a lot of value, give a lot of value, give a lot of value. Expect nothing in return,
Mm-hmm.
but make the ask occasionally. So
Yeah.
cool. Well, thanks for coming on. Stick around our community. We always encourage young people, anybody, but our younger crowd. We always encourage them to give back as much as they can in our groups, and to people who need help. Just because, money, cool, yeah, money. It's one thing, but there's a whole other aspect of fulfillment that comes from also helping others, which I already know you're doing. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
doing that, by the way. And if you need anything, reach out. We'll hit you back up in a couple. We'll hit you back up in a couple, probably 60, 90 days, and do another check-in like this, and give you a chance to meet Dave on one of those, and then yeah, we'll rock, man.
All right, thanks, man, for having me.
Cool. All right, guys. Yeah, geez, I don't know what else to say. I don't really have anything else to say that would yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. For those of you who are wondering, it's just Alex, the affiliate on TikTok. You can follow him there. Go give him a follow. Find him on TikTok. I can't really say much else. He's a baller. He's just killing it. So go give him a follow. Alex, the affiliate on TikTok. We're going to be back here same time, same place tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We'll be live. Dave will be back tomorrow and Friday. We've got great guests lined up, and we'll see you here tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern. See you guys.